Good afternoon, Ambassador Sally Axworthy, and welcome. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Good afternoon.
So we're very happy to have you as a guest, but also as moderator of the second event of the series Sisters Empowering Women. So how sisters, women, can empower other women. Sally, you are a friend of sisters. You know the sisters very well. So, how do you feel through your institutional role? Are you able? Have been you able to empower other women?
Thank you, Patrizia. So, I came to the Holy See from the Foreign Office, and during my career, I've been involved in the debate about women. And, we've had a long journey. We now have more than 30% women ambassadors. So I'm obviously interested in this question of women. And when I came to the Holy See, I discovered this world of the religious sisters doing really wonderful work, all kinds of things. I think the first thing we talked to the religious sisters about was helping victims of human trafficking and modern slavery. But then I discovered all the other things that the sisters do, running clinics, running schools, really going to provide help where help is needed. And that got me interested in this issue of women in the Catholic Church. So during my time here, that's been a bit of a theme. And there are various things that I've done, usually with the other women ambassadors. So one is to try and amplify your voices, the work of the religious sisters. We've done things like run training on combating sexual violence in fragile states, working with the sisters who do that. We've worked with the sisters on modern slavery, training on modern slavery. We've funded research. And then recently, the women ambassadors, as a result of lockdown, have got a bit organised, which has led us to doing other things. For example, we've supported a couple of the Pope's videos. We supported the one on women in leadership in the church. And we've had a lot of speakers to talk to us about this issue. So it's been very much a theme, and it's been very interesting and very rewarding.
Sally, what did you learn from the sisters' mission? What struck you most from their mission?
So I think there's a lot of debate about leadership and leadership styles in the Catholic Church. And what I found with the women with the religious sisters was a different way of doing things. I mean, I'm going to generalize, so please forgive me. But in general, the religious sisters are very self-effacing. I mean, they do marvelous things, but you have to draw it out of them. And in fact, for my first International Women's Day here, I did interviews with all the British religious sisters who are in Rome. And to me, that was a bit of a revelation because they were doing fantastic things, like Sister Helen Orford, who's going to be one of our speakers, has done lots of innovative thinking about the way business works, and about bringing kind of meaning into the world of work. So I discovered that religious sisters were religious sisters, but they were involved in all kinds of things. And they're in the way they do that, they're very much, they get on with it, but they don't, it's not about them. And I think recently what we've seen is that Pope Francis himself is championing this model of leadership, not saying that it's only something women can do, but I think that's in Fratelli Tutti and also in his book, Let Us Dream. That's very much the kind of way of leading in the church that he wants to see.
So let us dream together. What would you suggest, like 3 concrete steps to empower women throughout the world? Because there are countries where women really suffer a lot, mainly during this time of pandemic era, where lack of work, lack of resources. So what would you suggest? 3 concrete steps according to your experience.
So, I think women do need to stand up for other women and mentor them, talk to young women, the women who are coming through as leaders. but we also need the men. And sometimes our dialogues about women are without men, whereas it's much better to involve men. I mean, in my career, I've had a lot of support from men. For example, when I job shared, did a job with another person, it was my bosses were always men, and they supported me in this. So I think we need to bring men into the conversation. And on concrete steps, I mean, I've thought a little bit about this, but I think when we talk about women in leadership, what we need is a lot of women in leadership, not just one or two, because if you want the culture to change, they need to have significant numbers. If you want to do things differently, then there need to be more women. And so I think that's the direction we should go in, that it shouldn't just be token women, but really a lot of women getting involved in leadership positions.
There are people who are following us anew, mainly on Facebook and Twitter. And from United States, Sister Dusty, she's involved in the advocacy at the UN level. Thank you for your words. I just want to come back. You mentioned about leadership. What are the characteristics, in your opinion, from your experience, of the women leadership?
So it's really difficult to generalize about what women bring to leadership. I know Pope Francis has got views on this because he set them out in his book, Let Us Dream. I mean, I would say we're all human beings and we all have different strengths and weaknesses. And so, I don't really want to generalize about what makes women different as leaders, but maybe I will anyway. But I think maybe there's more of a focus on just getting on with the job, on sort of being practical. And I see that very much in the religious sisters. It's always about what can we do? If there's a need, it's what can we do? How can we make things better for the people who are suffering? And I think that's, the religious sisters are all female. So I think you see very much that kind of tendency to be really practical and to really help people in practical ways comes through.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. I just have a final question, because it's really a difficult time in many countries for COVID and for the consequences. You spent this year here in Rome, I guess. So what you have been learning through this year about our society, what we should learn doing differently after this time of COVID?
So COVID's been a time for us all to reflect a little bit on the way we live, both personally and as a society. And we've been having a very interesting debate on this. I mean, I think the COVID Commission in the Vatican has been leading some of the debate, but also we as an embassy have been doing some work with the Vatican on COP26 on the climate change conference. And what comes out of it for me is that I think when we stand back, we would like to change the way we live, both with regard to the environment, but perhaps also with regard to other issues like poverty, for example. And I very much hope that we can take some of that reflection that we've now had time to do and can translate it into action as we come out of the COVID crisis.
Well, thank you very much, Ambassador Sally Axworthy, for this interview, and also for accepting to be with us on Tuesday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Rome time to talk about economy and health in the frame of this event, Sisters Empowering Women. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Patrizia. Bye-bye.